Facts First presents. In 1887, nurses had to follow these 9 crazy rules, and number 8 is the craziest. If you've ever been to the hospital, you know that they depend on nurses to keep things running smoothly. According to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are over 3.1 million nurses in the United States today. Nurses have rules that they have to live by, too. And they make sense, these rules. They're set to ensure proper patient care. But back in 1887, things were a lot different. In 1887, nurses had to follow some ludicrous rules. Wait until we get to number 8. First, help us spread the word about Facts First by clicking the like button. And also be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. Number 1. Nurses were in charge of housekeeping. Today, hospitals have a housekeeping department. They're responsible for keeping the hospital clean and cleaning up messes made by the patients. In 1887, the nurses were in charge of housekeeping. Each day they had to dust and mop the floors of their ward, and they had to dust the furniture and the windowsills in the patients' rooms. Number 2. Temperature control. The nurses were responsible for keeping an even temperature in their ward by bringing a scuttle of coal to keep the temperature even for the whole day. Number 3. Keeping adequate light. Light is of course necessary if you're going to properly observe a patient's condition. In 1887, nurses were responsible for keeping adequate light. They had to fill the kerosene lamps, clean the chimneys, and trim the wicks on the candles. They also had to wash the windows once a week to allow plenty of natural light to come in. Today, hospitals have exam lamps that provide more than enough light. Number 4. Keeping accurate records. Just like today, nurses in 1887 had to keep records for the doctors. They had to take care of their pens, too. They could whittle the nibs down to their individual taste. Nurses today use either pens or charts or computers to make entries into their patients' charts. It's a lot easier today than it was back in 1887. Number 5. Long hours. Today, nurses' unions make sure that the nurses are working an adequate number of hours for an adequate amount of pay. Nurses in 1887, they didn't have unions, so they worked long days. They were to report for duty at 7 a.m. and they wouldn't leave until 8 p.m. These were the hours every day except Sunday. On Sunday, they still had to work, though, from noon until 2 p.m. Also, taking sick days was seriously frowned upon. Number 6. Days off. Today, nurses are often given a couple of days off as part of their contract. Some work more, some work less, but the hours are usually fair. Back in 1887, you had to be a graduate nurse in good standing with the director of nurses if you wanted a day off. They were allowed 1 evening off each week for courting purposes. If they attended church regularly, then they were given 2 evenings off a week. Number 7. Planning for retirement. Many nurses today have a pension or some other type of retirement plan. Back in 1887, nurses had to set aside a large amount of their salary so that they wouldn't be a burden to their families when they got older. If a nurse earned $30 per month, they would need to put half of that aside for their retirement. Their employer didn't pay any part of their retirement plan. Number 8. Off-hour activities are watched closely. Today, nurses are allowed to live their lives outside the hospital as long as their activities don't interfere with their job performance. Nobody asks today about a nurse's private life, and you don't have to disclose it unless you want to. In 1887, it was different. If a nurse smoked, drank alcohol, got her hair done at a beauty salon, or if she went to a dance hall, that would put a blemish on her record. These activities would cause the director of nurses to suspect her integrity, her worth, and her intentions. Nurses had to watch what they did inside and outside of work. Ooh, yeah, going to a beauty salon. Ooh, that is sinful. Number 9. Raises in pay. If a nurse does her job and serves the doctors and patients faithfully without any issues for 5 years, they'd be given an increase in pay. The hospital administration would give them an extra 5 cents per day. Today, thanks to nurse unions, pay raises are given a lot more frequently. and they pay more than 5 cents per hour. Thank goodness. Subscribe for more.